Welcome back to a beginner's Peglin guide. A beginner's guide to Peglin? Is that what I said? I already forgot. Today we're going to be moving on to Cruciball 2, and we'll see what the world holds in store for us. I didn't even realize this was a Cruciball feature, the elites showing up in question marks. Now what can happen? Alright. Our starting relics are looking pretty okay. This is the obvious choice. Molten Gold is a great scaling relic to start with. Does nothing for you immediately, but can turn into a lot of value later on. Basic Blade if you're scared. At high Cruciballs I would take this just because it does anything right now. And this is a healing relic, although it's one of the worst healing relics in the game. It's actually really hard to get much value out of this because 100 gold is just a lot. So we're gonna be starting with Molten Gold. Looks like we're up against the mole boss. And let's get right into that gold collection. How was your day? Sometimes I feel like these conversations we have are one-sided. Oh no. Well, I ended the battle earlier than I would have liked. But this is just a solid little scaling orb that, well, it's not exactly great against the mole. It's not bad against him either, and it will help us later on. This is a surprise tool that will help us later. I'm going to attempt to skim off of this. So this is this orb here, or this relic. Jesus Christ. This peg right here, if you can get the ball to sort of bounce off of this and head horizontally over here, you're going to have much better odds of landing on the right. Of all these relics, this is the one I would prefer, but it is far from a guarantee. So this is about the angle you want. Oh no, we got stuck, but we got lucky and landed there anyway. An interesting little relic to begin with. Duplicate all orbs. I get no real benefit for doing so. Usually a pretty unfortunate event to find in Act 1. Molten Gold. This map has so few pegs that it wasn't actually able to... It filled the entire thing and had to put multiple gold on a few of the individual pegs around here. That's what that means, by the way, if you haven't seen it before. So when you hit one of those pegs, it's going to give us 2 gold instead of 1. Shit. Oh, I didn't kill him. Well, that's a benefit. Our gold collection has been pretty bad so far. We're offered a Docked Orb, so we're going to take the Docked Orb. It's a very, very hard thing to say no to, especially this early. As it's just an excellent source of damage, of healing. What am I talking about? Yeah, it can only be used once per battle, so I'm gonna wait for another round of attacks before I use it because these plants are likely going to get to hit me. Unless I can manage to detonate both of these bombs here. Which is not the case. gonna get more of the gold down here, but it looks like I'm probably not getting the doctor off. Yeah. Oh well. I'll have plenty of chances later. Doctor Orb is very, very good with Swoltorb, since each peg it hits is going to heal you for the amount that that peg grants. So hitting a Swoltorb level 3 is going to upgrade a peg to 4, which means that the Doctor Orb is going to give you 5 bare minimum per peg. 5 healing is a lot, and you can get like essentially a full heal every time you fire it. I should have gone right. I didn't check my map. I wanted to take on that elite, but I forgot to do that. So that is an error. You're back on this map again. Which I'm not exactly thrilled about. But I am thrilled about getting to use my Doctor Orb here with my Must Circle. I don't need to hit the crit to guarantee 2 per peg, so this will be a full heal. I would have been anyway, actually. And I'm going to go ahead and fire it again, even though I'm basically at max health, because I want to keep these guys alive for as long as possible so I can get more gold. And since it cost me nothing in terms of health. Whoops. Okay. Respectable. Swashbuckle Orb is a little interesting with Molten Gold. It's not exactly a game-winning combo, but it's a little extra damage. I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna try to save some gold for this upcoming shop. Or for any more interesting orbs I see along the way. He is very dead. Honestly, there's not much to say about the game at this point. We really are just in full gold collecting mode. I wish I had more colorful commentary here. But I got nothing. I'm gonna take some hits from these guys, probably. Which is okay. It's not a big deal. They don't deal too much, and we've got the Doctor Orb. But we already used it this fight, we can easily heal up next time we get a chance to use it, so definitely not worried. In fact, I'm so not worried that I'm not even going to try to kill him, I'm just going to go for the gold down there. But we kill him anyway. Laser Orb is pretty cool. Works well with Must Circle and our upgraded pegs, since it has a tendency to hit most of the pegs in the map. It is a piercer, though I don't think... Yeah. It is still only going to hit the first enemy in front, which means it doesn't help very much against the mole. So rather than spend any money on upgrading it or buying it, I'm gonna go ahead and continue to save for the shop. Which way I go here doesn't really matter, so I'm gonna try to get a little more gold here. That's fine. Ask me anything is good in Act 2, as it allows you to deal full damage, or double damage, actually, to the shields. I'm gonna go ahead and take Short Fuse here, just a little more power. Short Fuse does have a chance of getting you the treasure chest if you fire in there, but it's a total crapshoot, and I want to hit this shop, so we're just gonna do that. Not much to say on the subject. Pretty bog standard run. Gonna do my usual trick of trying to get to the left in this shop by firing there, and no! An unlucky bounce. We do not get to fight the elite today. That's very unfortunate. Takes some max HP. Not gonna be able to buy anything interesting here. We could buy some basic pegs, orbs, but no reason to. No adventurine, no good slime. That's very sad. Okay, we got a lot of bombs. We want to save them for now, as best we can, since they're going to be much more useful for taking out the little plant enemies than just dealing damage directly to the mole. We're also going to save the doctor. It's going to be able to heal us all the way back up to full if we use it right. So we want to go a couple of rounds with that. We want to take a lot of damage before we use it. The Doctor Orb should make this fight pretty much a guaranteed victory for us. Assuming I don't do something stupid. So I'd give it 50% chance we lose. Alright, I'm gonna cycle past the Doctor Orb one more time. Though there's also a possibility I just kill the mole here. Yeah, you know what? Actually, we are just gonna kill him. Let's use it while we have the chance. Because he just doesn't have that much health. Look at that. He's already almost dead. Poor little mole. Didn't stand a snowball's chance in hell. Okay. Easiest boss fight of my life. I'm not too worried about multi-enemies. So Act 2 generally is a pierce check. It's a lot of the fights involve a lot of little guys sort of coming at you all at once, which is why you're going to want to buy stuff like Sphere, because it can hit up to 4 enemies at once. But honestly, we've got Bomb Baton, and the scariest multi-enemy fights are the ones that have the knights with the shields, but we've got Axe Me Anything, which is very, very good for taking out shields. So while this deck isn't exactly spec'd out for multi-enemies, I'm not that worried about them. And Sphere doesn't really do much other than that. So I'm actually going to just upgrade the Swole Torb and move on. Save my money in the hopes that we find something cool. Good options here. I think Glorious Suffering is probably the correct option. Haglin's Satchel is a pretty arguable take, since it's likely to upgrade the orbs it gives you. And these are rare orbs, so they're likely to do something helpful. 100 gold is also definitely nothing to sneeze at. Moving into Act 2. My Treacherous Shell is almost always good. But it doesn't solve any problems we have right now. So we're going to grab Glorious Suffering, since this is probably going to be the best in the long term for our scaling. If we go up against the Demon Wall, we're going to be very glad we took that. It's Ballista. Well, that's what the Doctor Orb is for. I'm still not scared. The beauty is of low ascension. Swoltorb is upgrading every peg by 8. That's insane. Oh my god. Just looking to gather some gold here. I think if we detonate all the... yeah, if we detonate even close to all the bombs, they're just dead. So we don't need to worry about fighting them. Arg. 6 damage. There we go. Decent amount of gold gathered. Pucklorb is tempting. Ball Lightning is also tempting. I think I'm probably going to take the Ball Lightning. Big orbs are much, much better at triggering lots of pegs themselves. Just because they're more likely to hit. Their hitboxes are larger. It makes more of a difference than you might think. It makes big orbs really good for stuff like gold gathering or triggering lots of pegs when you have something that benefits from it the way Glorious Suffering does. So the Bucklorb take here would definitely be decent, but I'm just going to go ahead and go with Ball Lightning since that's easy. We definitely want to go left, so I'm not even going to risk getting any gold here because I don't want to accidentally send myself down the wrong path. A second Docked Orb is probably the way to go. Just kind of guarantees our survivability long term. And that's what I was talking about with the shield guys. Normally they'd be a threat, but they're not here because I can just take out every shield in one hit. Alright. I could take another Swoltorb, but I'd rather just save my money since we're going to a shop right now. Though I think I already removed, right? Oh yeah, so I can't get a relic and a removal. I shouldn't have upgraded the Ball Lightning. That was foolish. This is total win more, we don't need it. This is a really good relic, though I definitely think we don't need it per se. Act 2 is handled. I'm only looking for stuff that's going to help me in Act 3. Actually, Flaunty Gauntlets just kind of guarantees the victory against this guy. Though, do I want to remove more? Not really. Removing is powerful, but reloading is the point where you're the most vulnerable. You don't want to be spending every other turn reloading in this game. Consider that before you remove everything in your deck. Good first shot. Got a lot done there. I could be in trouble here. I'm actually really hoping... I was really hoping that I would get both of the bombs there. Fortunately, I only get one round of attacks, and it looks like I get the Docked Orb here, so I'm fine. But I did not play this smart. In this scenario, on high Cruciballs, I would have come very, very close to death. Oh, it looks like I'm coming close to death anyway, because I can't fire this thing properly. Right, I need to hit this refresh. Or I could just try to hit it up here. Actually, yeah. There we go. That'll do. Man. Just not well played. Not on my A game today. So, as far as beginner's guides go, I guess this is what not to do. Now we can heal back to full. Yeesh. Try to hit the bombs. No, not gonna happen. Okay. Anyway, we're all just gonna pretend that didn't happen, right? Whew. Alright. Dropping in. Strange Brew is kind of cool, because it activates Glorious Suffering 3 times on every refreshing crit that you get. So it'll upgrade a peg to plus 12, and then it'll hit that peg 3 times over the course of that. So the first one will do 0 extra, the next one will do 4, and then 8, which is another 12 damage. I think. But I'd rather just have the ability to cycle through to my Docked Orbs when I need them. The Ambidextrary would have done a lot in that last fight, for example. Even though the relics might not necessarily be as powerful raw, in this situation, the Ambidextrary solves a problem that I had that we just saw in the last fight. Right? I am absolutely not a narc. And in Peglin, you want to be thinking about what problems need solving, what weaknesses do I have that need to be shored up. Because you can win more all day, you can get stuff that benefits you in departments that you're already strong enough, and it's not going to help you win. But if you come across a fight that, you know, you're weak to, you can just lose outright. You need to be a jack of all trades. I'm gonna go ahead and just take Refilibuster. Nice little bit of extra damage. And I'm gonna go right. Because I want to see the shop. Okay. Pretty bad shop. Can grab Matryorbchka. Fully upgraded, it will do a lot of work with Glorious Suffering. This fight is one that tends to scare me, but I am not worried about it because our scaling right now is extremely high. Glorious Suffering is going to take care of this fight pretty much on its own. But it is a fight to be wary of. This guy does, I think, 25 damage every hit once he gets up to you. He's also immune to Bramble and Blind. So, he is very dangerous. You don't want him to get to you. There we go. Get a little full heal before we kill him. Get some of that gold as well. And you're out of here. I want this to be fully upgraded, so I'm going to spend the 10 extra gold just to get it there. I think this doesn't do much, but it could help. This is probably the closest thing we have to solving a problem, which is that we're still a tiny bit weak to multi-enemy fights, although it's not something I'm unduly concerned about. Okay, I just really want this gold, man. I'm not scared of the ballista at all. I'm willing to take like 4 hits from the fire. Gonna go ahead and take out the paintings. Looks like the bombs are gonna do it for me. Okay. We can try to heal back this damage. Though I'm not sure we're gonna be able to unless we can hit a refresh. Yeah. That's unfortunate. That's okay. We will have plenty of chances to heal in the boss fight. Oh, there we go. Everything important is already upgraded, so we can start coasting. Gonna absolutely fucking destroy the ballista here. Oh, he doesn't stand a chance. Swoltorb is a great thing to start off with, although it had a really unfortunate bounce. And we can... Oh, really? You too? Whatever. Transparency helps here. We now are going to be able to just hit the guys for full damage through the ballista, the little minions. Which means once we run out of bombs, we're not going to be in trouble. In that case, it was his free filibuster that took care of him. That's why I picked up Flaunty Gauntlets. Not that it was such a necessary dodge, we weren't in any danger, but it was a free dodge. Fun fact about Transparency, when you have more than 10, the damage that passes through is actually higher. So right now, if I were to hit him, although I'm not gonna because this guy's in the way, this guy would take 1.5 times the damage that the ballista himself did. Very hard to exploit, but if you can actually get some kind of crazy combos with that where you manage to multiply your damage over and over again as you pass through enemy after enemy to deal big damage to whoever's in the back. No dodge for me that time. That's quite alright. Try to hit the refresh for... Yes, there we go. Needed to reset the minions so that I could hit him with this. Probably kills... No? Okay. Might as well heal. Get the dodge. Need to hit a refresh again to clear the enemies out. Didn't quite have enough there. Gonna do it again. This should kill if it hits the refresh. Perfect. And that's a wrap, folks. Not even hard. Oh, there's beloved constricting chains. One of my favorites. One of ultimate grade is kind of funny. It would keep me at basically 100% Belusion all the time. But constricting chains is preposterously good. I take it, I don't know, maybe 90% of the time I see it. It's kind of crazy too because it used to be one of the worst relics in the game. It's one of the best now. Boss relics anyway. Behold. Triple the orbs, triple the peg upgrades. Off we descend. Oh, we could take Potion Bolt, but I don't really care. I had a Potion Bolt last time. I'd like to mix things up a bit. Try unique orbs, especially at these low Cruciballs where you can afford to take stupid shit. As explained before, we basically never want to take this event, especially when you have constricting chains and you can't aim at the correct areas with the ×2 holes. Oh no, my elite. That's tragic. And I don't get my shop. Oh man. The constricting chains is trying to prove that it's not worth it right now. Do I take a Spintress payment? Sure, why not? If I'd taken that wand of Skulltimate Greed, oh boy, he would do a lot of damage. Ball bounces contribute to damage. Surprisingly impactful of relic. Tactical treat can help a bit if you get a refresh in a really bad spot, which can happen a lot with the QR code fight. Oh, more refreshes. We love refreshes. I mean, what build doesn't really? Okay, and he's dead. Interesting fight. I don't think I've ever killed a tall Peglin before. Taking out his minions before. That's crazy. Gotta upgrade that. Very, very, very good relic. And... whoops. Meant to aim straight down there. But we got the dodges, so who cares? The hops, as it were. Do I take another refresh? I say, why not? I say, that sounds funny. Man, y'all, we have blitzed through this run. I don't know how long this one's taken, but it feels so much faster than the first one we did. We just got everything we needed right off the bat. There were no hard decisions to make, and the fights have been fast because we're dealing so much fucking damage. This is why Swoltorb and Glorious Suffering are such compelling takes. You're watching them in their prime right now. This is what they're supposed to do at their absolute peak, and it is working for us. when you think about boss relics, it's really, really good if you can get ones that work together multiplicatively, the way these do. Glorious Suffering upgrades every peg you activate, which means every ball you fire is affected by this and is more powerful. So it multiplicatively stacks with the amount of multi-ball or otherwise extra balls that you manage to get out onto the field, or more accurately, the amount of pegs you manage to activate. So like Gift that keeps on giving would also be really, really good with this. But Constricting Chains gives us 3 balls instead of 1, which makes this relic effectively 3 times more powerful. You know, not that complicated, but might be worth explaining how I think about picking relics. So if you see combos like that, they're almost always the correct decision to take. Ow. In a fight like this, you can press F and slow down the movement of the blocks to give yourself the ideal shot. Unfortunately, just the Constricting Chains is giving us a really bad angle on this shot here, so I don't think I'm going to get a very good one off, but I'm going to wait for this block to come back around and try to fire in like that. There we go. That might kill. Oh, it's going to kill one of them. Oh my god. Almost got them all. Oops. On be honest, I didn't really mean to fire that one. Heal back to full real quick. Just a casual 500 health heal. Drop down to Spinter's Payment, which is currently not even giving us that high of damage because of the halved damage from Constricting Chains, plus the -4/-4 from Glorious Suffering. Objectively, wasn't the right take, but sometimes you want to see something funny happen. Like a lightning strike killing both of these, since the lightning crit hits both enemies in a column. And that's a wrap. GG Cruciball 2. I'm going to be moving on to Cruciball 3 pretty much immediately. I think I'm going to just keep recording. Give me a second here. I want to check my recording length and see if I want to make this one a twofer. $40. Okay, we'll call it here, and I will see you all in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen. Good night.